Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. So now it is time for our deck profile for Infernoble Night. One thing I want to address real quick before I get into the video. I think if I'm thinking of my scheduling correctly, this video is actually going out on a Monday, which is normally our viewer special. We are still doing that this week. We're just going to be doing it tomorrow on Tuesday instead. So don't worry, we are definitely still going to be doing the viewer specials. Again, I'm just bumping it back one day because yesterday I actually posted my Infernoble Night combo guide, and I wanted to post the deck profile on the following day just to make sure that we were staying consistent in that regard. So this video will cover the build and my mindset behind, the build here, as well as some gameplay. But I will not be stopping to explain the combo lines fully. Again, I did that in yesterday's video in the combo guide, which is linked in the description below. So if you are interested in learning how this deck plays, I highly advise you check that out, because this one's a doozy. This deck can definitely feel like a lot, but I think it's really cool in that regard. So the first thing you'll probably notice about my main deck is like, oh my god, Lex, you went above 40. Not only did I go above 40, I'm actually playing 46 cards, which I hate this number. I hate this number, but this is actually correct. This is one of those decks where we play so much gas that by the time you've put in everything you need to actually do your plays and maxis and ash blossoms and call buys, like, you're already at 40 cards. Like, that's like pretty much already 40 cards right there. And it's not only just the fact that there's so much engine here, there's actually quite a few things in this deck you don't want to open, right? Like, generally speaking, you want to open as few of your equipped spells as possible, except maybe for like Living Fossil for extension or something like that. Or like Durandal to start your plays if you need to. Well, Durandal's not really a play starter. But anyway, generally speaking, you want to open as few of these equipped spells as possible. But we also have like a couple of other Garnets. Like, for example, oh no, this is summoned from hand or deck. I was going to say the Neospecies Aqua Dolphin can only be summoned from deck, but Connector can summon it from hand. But like, Turpin, we don't really ever want to open this card. Gearfried, we never want to open this card. And generally speaking, a lot of your Infernoble Knights, you like Magius, we never want to see this card in the hand. There's just a lot of stuff here. Oh, and also, like, again, opening as few equipped spells as possible, but especially like Broken Bamboo Sword feels bad to open. The original Sin feels bad to open. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of stuff here that we need, but we don't want to open. And we also have a lot of engine and not a lot of room for other stuff, staying within 40 cards. So for those reasons, I was definitely okay. I was going to say more than okay, but again, I really don't like this number. But it's okay. This is definitely the optimal way to play the deck. You'll also notice that I am on the Diabellstar Sinful Spoils package. You don't actually need to play the Sinful Spoils package. And really, if I really wanted to keep the deck at 40, I could have cut it and like one Joel and Lockbird, and boom, that's 40 cards right there. But again, not only is there a lot of stuff here I really don't want to open, but I think the Diabellstar package does add enough to the deck that I think it's worth going like well above 40 to include it, right? Because the Diabellstar package, again, as we covered in the combo guide, not only allows you to go into your main combos more easily, but it also sets up some unique combo lines that can add like an Appaloosa to your end board. So that's pretty good. And again, I think for that reason, it is worth it to play the Diabellstar package. You don't have to. You can definitely play this deck without doing that. But I think at that point, I don't know. I don't want to say you're playing an unoptimal build because I don't feel that strongly about it. In fact, in the TCG, I know in particular, we saw the majority of Infernoble Night decks that were topping tournaments are doing so without the Diabellstar package. But again, I don't know, it just adds so many options. I kind of can't imagine myself playing without it, but you can do it. You definitely can do it. The equipped spell lineup probably looks a little bit weird, but a lot of stuff here is stuff we need specifically for like our combo lines. I guess the weirdest part is probably the Bamboo Sword package. Now, in the OCG, they have a card called Phoenix Gearblade, which you don't have in Master yet. I think it's in the TCG as well, but they also have the better version, the Divine Sword. That card is banned here in the OCG. But anyway, Phoenix Gearblade is an equipped spell that's not out in Master Duel yet that will allow you to recur it from your graveyard to your hand. in the future, we use that to make sure we're able to get an equip spell to our hand after sending them all with Isold. But here we need the Bamboo Sword package. Basically, we're sending the Cursed Bamboo Sword off of Isold to add the Broken Bamboo Sword, because we do need an equip spell for a lot of our combo lines, but we don't need to open one. It is searchable. So, again, it might seem weird to have the Bamboo Swords in here, but you'll see, and again, if you look at the combo guide especially, you'll see why they're important. Living Fossil is mostly here just to kind of add not only another extender, but just another equip spell in general. Again, you really want to open as few equip spells as possible. You need a good amount to send usually for the Isold. So the Living Fossil here, again, it's a nice extender, but it's mostly here just to be another equip spell. From what I recall, it's actually not required to specifically use this card in any of your combo lines. So, okay. Oh, another thing I want to talk about, right, is Super Quantum Red Layer. You're probably seeing this being like, ugh, another UR. You don't have to craft this. This is very, very optional. I like having it because for our combo lines, you need 2 warrior monsters. So having a warrior that can special itself is very nice, but it's not at all necessary. You can definitely get away playing this deck without this card. I think it's optimal, but it's not necessary by any means. For the extra deck, you could also get away with only 1 Charles, and in fact, I wouldn't even say that 2 Charles is necessarily optimal. Like, you can play 1 or 2. There's, like, merits and arguments to playing the second one or not. You do definitely need 2 Link 1 Charles, though. This you will summon out both copies on turn 1, but the Synchro Charles is not the case, so that one is fine. I've also seen builds play a second Angelica, which I guess is for adding a follow-up Noble Arms Museum, but, like, I don't know. You could do it. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's much less necessary than, like, the second... Well, I don't know. Maybe it's about as necessary as the second Synchro Charles. I could see an argument either way, but I really like playing Bagooska and Link Spider. While this deck does actually have natural plays around Nibiru, the Link Spider makes Nibiru even more trivial or even less impactful against this deck. And the Bagooska is nice for if you get Maxine, so... I think pretty much everything in here I've already covered in the combo guide as well. The only other card we didn't really summon in the combo guide was Ferocious Flame Swordsman. This is just to, like, pivot if you need to. Sometimes you need to, like, you know, get the Promethean Princess off your field, but you don't have the ability to pop it with a Charles, so you can link it for the Flame Swordsman or whatever. Boosting your whole field by 500, all your warriors, is actually pretty nice, and the destruction effect is also not irrelevant. But, yeah, alright, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for the profile portion. Let's break the list down card by card, and then I'm going to show you some games. We're on 3 Joel Lockbird, 2 Infernoble Knight Renaud, 1 Fire Flint Lady, 1 Infernoble Knight Ricardetto, 3 Maxi, 1 Neospatian Aquadolphin, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Neospace Connector, 1 Infernoble Knight Augier, 1 Infernoble Knight Oliver, 1 Infernoble Knight Magus. I've been calling it Magius. It's actually Magus. Infernoble Knight Turpin. We've got 1 copy of that. 1 Super Quantum Red Layer. 1 Diabellstar the Black Witch. 1 Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. 1 Reinforcement of the Army. 3 Heritage of the Chalice. 1 Original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye. 1 Broken Bamboo Sword. 1 Cursed Bamboo Sword. 1 Living Fossil, 2 Infernoble Arms Durandal, 1 Infernoble Arms Joyous, 1 Infernoble Arms Almace, 1 Angelica's Angelic Ring, 3 Noble Arms Museum, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, and then finally 3 Wanted, Seeker of Sinful Spoils. It's going to be our 46 card main deck. For the extra deck, we're on 1 Infernoble Knight Captain Roland, 1 Angelica, Princess of Noble Arms, 2 Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, 1 Baron de Fleur, 1 Artorius, King of the Noble Knights, 1 number 41 Bagooska, the terribly tired Tapier, 1 Link Spider, 2 Emperor Charles the Great, 2 Isold, 2 Tales of the Noble Knights, 1 Ferocious Flame Swordsman, 1 Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames, and then finally 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. Alright, that'll do it for our list. Let's go ahead and see the deck profile. Games. Okay, our first opponent is going to be on Mathmech. Mathmech. I'll really pop out my list here, in case you want to see that while we're actually playing the duel. We're going to be taking the first turn, and we have quite a few options here with this hand. I'm going to draw phase wanted. Look, I learned. I can be taught. And then I'll send the Oliver here for the Diabell Star. Normally I wouldn't send Oliver because it can actually be a pretty important combo piece, but we have Connector and a Rhoda and a Museum and Original Sin, so I'm not particularly worried about it. Oh, okay. That went by really quickly there. The Neospatian Aqua Dolphin part, but they had Diameter, Parallel Exceed, Small World, Signet Mining, and Equation. So it's a lot of gas. We know they can probably push through a good amount of our board if we're not careful about setting it up here. Just keeping in mind, you know, everything that we need to stop here. Also, I touched on this in the combo guide, but it's really nice if you can actually drop the Diabell Star before you go for the Aqua Dolphin effect, because then you have a much greater chance of actually discarding a card. That said, I think even if you only have Aqua Dolphin plus Connector, it's actually generally worth it to use the Aqua Dolphin effect. Because if nothing else, it'll give you information. Also, I really should have added a card off of Rhoda and then discarded that. I don't know why I just discarded Rhoda here, but sure, why not? Anyway, now from here, I'm going to go into the Isolde, Two Tails of the Noble Knights. We'll use her effect to add Fire Flint Lady, because from here, I'm planning on just going for like a standard kind of combo line. I wonder how much I would have been able to extend. Could I have extended into an Appaloosa? I'm trying to think, now that I actually know this deck a little bit better, these games that we're going to be seeing are from my first ever play session with it, so you might see some slightly unoptimal play here. But I'm just trying to figure out if I could have actually utilized this Diabell Star to make an Appaloosa. I think I could have, now that I think about it. Well, actually, definitely could have, because I opened Noble Arms Museum. I should have gone for that combo line. I don't know why I went for this one instead. Oh, because I wanted the, I see. I wanted the Aqua Dolphin discard. I think in this particular game, I probably valued that Aqua Dolphin discard a little bit too highly. I don't know. I don't think my line is, like, terrible here, but it could have been a lot better. I think I got a little bit greedy, honestly, if I'm being completely candid. I think definitely discarding the Museum was more correct than the Rhoda. It's funny how, like, because, I mean, these games, I only played them yesterday, but I already feel like I have such a, like, more expansive knowledge about how this deck actually combos, that I'm already seeing, like, these fairly minor misplays that I'm making in this line right here. Yeah, here I'm popping the Promethean Princess. I'm glad I at least remember to do that. Because I think if I remember correctly, I actually screwed up equipping the Angelica's Angelic Ring here. Which, this is one of the reasons why in the combo guide I really emphasized making sure that you are careful when you are activating the, you know, the Angelica's Angelic Ring. Okay, so yeah, now I'm equipping the Almace. We get to... Oh, we get to summon a Renaud here off the... I actually forgot that original Sinful Spoils was down there, but... I don't know, I think I sent the Museum a little bit early there, didn't I? Oh, I guess I just weaved a Ferocious Flame Swordsman into the line for a little bit of an extra attack buff. It's like, I think I could have done better. I think I could have weaved in an Appaloosa here, if I was smarter. If I was smarter. Well, because the main thing here is I wanted to make sure that I could summon the second Charles, too, right? I don't know if I would have been able to summon both Charles and Appaloosa now that I think about it. Yeah, why did I put that Durandal on the Flame Swordsman? I should have put it on one of the things, because as you can see, I ended up activating the Infernoble Knight that wasn't equipped with... Actually, neither of them were equipped with anything. That's how you know this was an early game and how I was messing things up. But yeah, because the thing about Angelica's Angelic Ring is that... Where is it? You can only equip it to a monster that's already equipped with an equipped card. So the other thing, too, is like I had plenty of Infernoble monsters in here to equip, didn't I? I had the Roland, or the Oglier, and the... Yeah, Turpin. I had definitely... I think I had opportunities to actually equip, you know, and get the Angelica's Angelic Ring here, but you know what? It's whatever. I mean, it's not whatever. It is a misplay, but it's not going to ultimately end up mattering here. So yeah, if I had had Angelica's Angelic Ring, that would have just negated this Signet Mining. I would have had to use Emperor Charles the Great's effect here. But I mean, we know their hand is, we know their hand is Diameter Equation and an unknown card. We can still negate another spell or trap card effect. We have the Promethean Princess for the pop. We have the monster effect negate. We have the Roland for another pop as well. It's like, even though we didn't equip the Angelica's Angelic Ring, we are still like, we have so much disruption on this end board. It's like, it doesn't even matter. Again, you should have done it. I should have done it the way I described, right? You know, equipping the Angelica's Angelic Ring, or equipping the Charles so that I could equip the Angelica's Angelic Ring, but it doesn't ultimately end up mattering here because we have far more than enough to stop our opponent. But let's go ahead and see the next game. All right, this duel is going to be against Branded Despia. So getting to show off a new meta deck against a couple of the previous top meta decks. Now here, I'm going to, once again, draw phase wanted. Again, I can be taught. I can learn. And then I'm going to use the Heritage to add the Noble Arms Museum. So now, as you can see, I've set myself up for the Diabellstar plus Museum combo line. So normally Diabellstar mostly ends up representing just another warrior monster, right? That doesn't take a normal summon. Because using 2 warrior monsters to summon Isold is like the main way to start your combo line. But Diabellstar doesn't just act as a substitute warrior monster, right? It can actually be used for its own unique lines. Again, I go over this in that combo guide linked in the description below there if you want to check that out. Alright, so now we're going to sync for the Angelica. Or no, this is link summoning, my bad. We're linking for the Isold. I saw a 4 and a 1. I thought we were synchro summoning, but nope, gotta summon Isold first. We're adding Red Layer here just because we're going to just discard it off of the Oliver, so the thing about Isold's Search that you gotta keep in mind is that you can't use that card. You can't normal, special, or activate its effects. You can still discard it, which we're gonna do here. Or I guess send it from the hand to the graveyard, you know. But, yeah, no, as far as actually, like, I just totally lost track of what I was saying. I just totally spaced out there. I'm sorry. That doesn't usually happen. That happened a lot more when I first started recording. It's been a hot minute since that's happened. I just lost track of what I was saying mid-sentence there. That's my bad. But anyway. Oh, no, I was talking about Isold. Right. You can't... So don't add a monster with Isold with the intention of using it as a combo piece later in that same turn. It won't work. You can't add, like, a Renaud or a Fire Flint Lady and then summon them. I'm glad I remembered that. Okay, it's been a hot minute since I've... It's funny, I was actually thinking about this recently. It's like, I'm so used to recording now that there are a lot of those, I don't know, I was just going back and looking at some of my older Master Duel videos recently, and it's like, God, I speak so much more lowly and slowly, and I'm pausing more, and I'm so much more hesitant. I can hear it in my voice. It's like, but you know, it's just natural that comfort and confidence come when you've been doing something for long enough, so. Okay, this time I did not screw up equipping the Angelica's Angelic Ring, so. So this is a really cool interaction I'm glad I got to show. You can actually negate Super Poly in this deck with the Angelica's Angelic Ring. You're probably wondering, how the hell did you do that? This card can't be negated. That's actually not true. Super Polymerization can be negated. It simply has the clause that neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. So here's the thing about Angelica's Angelic Ring. The effect states, each turn, negate the effect of your opponent's first spell, card, or effect that resolves. Period. There is no condition, there is no cost. This is not an activated effect. This is a continuous effect that will apply itself when the condition is fulfilled. The condition being your opponent's spell or trap card that resolves. And again, because we're not activating a card or effect in response, we can actually stop the Super Poly with the Angelica's Angelic Ring. I was so glad that this happened. I was so glad I got to show this interaction. Because it's something that I wanted to mention for sure, but to be able to actually show it in a game, I'm so glad I got to show this example. But yeah. I'm just going to Apo, negate the Lubellion. They'll summon Aliber and run over it, but this means that the Appaloosa has already effectively negated the Aliber as well. They don't get a search off of it. They're going to try to fusion deployment here for the Albaz. I'm not even going to bother using the Emperor Charles spell Trap Negate, because I can just pop the Albaz once it's summoned with the Emperor Charles effect copied from the Synchro monster, right? Because Synchro Charles says that when an equip card becomes equipped to a monster on the field, even during the damage step, you can destroy a card in the field. So by using Roland as a quick effect equip, you can... It's kind of like if you've played Mathmech, how you can use Mirror Logic Aggregator, sending it off of Terahertz as a negate, but you have to preempt it, right? Because it activates on a separate chain link. The same thing is true of Roland. You can use Roland equipping to one of your monsters as a quick effect to proc the destroy. Just know that it goes on a separate chain link. So here, I wanted to destroy the Albaz. That means I have to equip the Roland before the Albaz is actually summoned. If I had chained Roland in response to Albaz's effect, it would not have worked because that goes on a separate chain link. So I just want to clarify and point that out there. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, that's like far more than enough to stop our opponent here. It's kind of wild. Like, once you set this board up, it's really hard to break. Like, duh, a lot of combo decks boards end up being difficult to break, right? But I feel like this deck in particular, it's like, it has access to so many negates and so much disruption. I mean, look at this. I'm ending this duel with a literal full field, except for my EMZ, to my opponent's nothing. No cards in hand, no cards in field. And again, I have a literal full field plus a couple of cards in hand. That's wild. And it's not even like, and again, this was branded Despia. It's not like we're like, you know, punching down against like weaker decks here. This is what this deck can do against some meta decks. But let's go ahead and see the next duel here. Alright, our next opponent is going to be on a hero deck. And one thing you might be wondering at this point is like, well, sure, Hex, I mean, when you go off uninterrupted, your board's fine. But what happens if your opponent actually has a hand trap? Well, for one, I actually did cover what to do if your opponent has Nibiru in the combo guide. But two, I'm going to show off a game here where we, if I recall correctly, we do get hand trapped here. So we're going to activate the Dia Bellstar effect. I'm going for the Dia Bellstar plus Museum line. And yeah, my opponent's going to have an imperm for the Dia Bellstar herself. So this looks bad, right? Because now we not only don't have access to the line that we're used to, but you know, on top of that, we don't even have two warrior monsters on the field right now. Whatever shall we do? I'm going to activate my Museum and add a Durandal here. Equip Durandal to the Dia Bellstar and use that to add the Renaud. Now I can normal summon Ricardetto and special the Renaud. I'll use Renaud effect to wheel that Durandal back to my hand. And now I'm going to link off Ricardetto and Renaud for the Isold. So that's another thing about this deck, right? Even though it is a long-form combo deck, it actually plays through a lot of disruption fairly well. Here's another one. But it's going to Ash Blossom or Isold. That means no summon from the deck. That means no Uglier. That means no sending Turpin. That means no setting any of that stuff up. So what I can do here is link off the Isold and the Dia Bellstar I have remaining for the Promethean Princess. Now, Promethean Princess can bring back Ricardetto. Ricardetto's effect will activate to bring back the Renaud. And I'm going to link off the Ricardetto and the Promethean Princess for the Ferocious Flame Swordsman. And then I'm just going to pass. So here, I will say, though, while this does not look particularly impressive, we actually still have multiple forms of disruption available to us. Not only the Ash Blossom that's in our hand, but we also set up the Promethean Princess in our graveyard for a pop as well. Granted, yeah, certainly not as impressive looking as all the other stuff we've done up until this point. And actually, no, I can't use Fire Flint Lady because I added her off of Isold. Right, of course. So I won't let the Road to Resolve. I wanted to see what they added before I just blind Ash Blossomed. Get a little bit of information, but I will Ash Blossom the Vision Hero Vion here, for sure. That card can be rather scary, so I'd rather not have to deal with it if possible. And thankfully, they do not have any amount of follow-up to that. Well, they do have the mask change here, but we can play around this Dark Law very, very easily. As soon as it's summoned, I'm just going to activate the Promethean Princess effect to pop both the Dark Law and the Flame Swordsman. I'll just summon her right back to the field. Alright, now they don't have any kind of follow-up here, which is definitely very good for me. Immortal Phoenix Gearfried is actually not a bad job because I have the equipped spells in the graveyard. And then, yeah, we can just go ahead and win out from there. Beautiful. So I do have one more game I want to show you. Let's go into it here. So this game is not only also against Hero, it's actually the same person as last time. Doesn't happen too often, but occasionally I do end up matching against the same person like multiple times in the same span of like, you know, a play session. That actually did happen here. I matched against this hero player again. So this time we're going to go second. They're going to Rhoda for the Stratos, but thankfully we've got the Droll here. So I'm just going to fire that off right away. It does potentially conflict with my Max C, but I know that hero likes to do a lot of searching, so especially if they added Stratos, I'm more than fine just using my Droll here. Yeah, they're just going to go for the Vert Anaconda and then end up summoning the DPE. So we will still have to deal with that. Gotta be mindful of that, but... Alright. Passing back over to me. Alright, draw for turn. Oh, I didn't use the Wanted here during the draw phase, which I really should have. Oh, I think I wanted to... I think I actually did that on purpose. No, I did do that on purpose, because I knew I was going to summon the Aqua Dolphin off the Neospace connector, and I was like, if they have Droll, I can just snipe it out of their hand. I can just do it that way. So that's why I didn't want it during the draw phase there. It probably was so right to just do it anyway, just in case, but... Anyway, the Aqua Dolphin didn't discard anything, but it gave us information, so we know that their hand is Shadow Mist plus Stratos. We know they don't have any disruption, except for the DPE that's on the field. So here I'm going to link summon Isold. I was terrified they were just going to use the DPE right away, and they do. But, you know, it is what it is. We still have the Wanted, so we should still have some amount of plays here, right? I'm going to add the red layer, even though that doesn't really do anything here because I can't special it. Mostly because I didn't want to top deck it later, honestly. And I can just, yeah, set it for the Diabell Star here, so... Alright, Diabell Star will set the original Sinful Spoils. I'm going to battle over the Vert Anaconda. Doing this now because I'm very confident I'm not going to be able to end the duel this turn either way, so... We'll use the original Sin to set up the Renaud. Renaud will wheel back the red layer to our hand for potential follow-up plays, and then I'm just going to have to pass back over to them. I actually wonder if I shouldn't have battled over the Vert, because it procced the Vision Hero. Yeah, that might have been more correct. Anyway, here I wanted to max C now before they just like linked or something. But that actually does stop them from making any amount of plays, which is very, very surprising. I was not expecting that to actually work, but it did, so that's cool. I'm going to special summon the red layer, original Sinful Spoils, F I'll use to add a Renaud, and then I can also draw a card off of the Wanted here, getting more advanced. Another reason to play the Diabell Star package, by the way. Not only does it add consistency to your combo lines, but it also gives you a lot of advantage on your follow-up plays, too. That Ash Blossom's a pretty nice draw. Joker's Angelic Ring, much less so, but... Living Fossil will definitely take us further extension. I'm going to use the Ash Blossom here on the Vion, because I was planning on trying to just end the duel this turn. Right now they're at 4k, I just got to play around this back row and the DPE. And they actually DPE on the Renaud as soon as I summoned it, which is a little surprising given I still have my normal, but... So now I'll just link the Magius and the red layer for... Or, Magus. That card. Magus, yeah, not Magius. The U is before the GI. Alright, so I get to use Magius to refill my deck a bit and also draw a card, and then I'll use Isold to just search the red layer again, just because it's not like I'm going to use the card anyway. Alright, now I get to summon Oglear, and I'll use Oglear's effect to send the Turpin. I can equip the Cursed Blade, bring back the Turpin. Things are looking pretty good here. We get to overlay for the Artorias. Artorias effect will equip Durandal and Joyous, and we have Almace in there as well, so I get to just do that too. We'll add the Ricardetto. And now we get to link summon for the Promethean Princess. We're kind of doing the turn 1 combo line a little bit here, but I'm going to try to see if I can pivot it into, like, you know, winning the duel. Here they Droplet, which I think this is a really weird time to Droplet, but sure. I wasn't even planning on using the Promethean Princess effects, you know, anytime soon here, so I'll special summon the Ricardetto and activate the effect. They get their Shadow Mist F that they sent off the Droplet as well to add the Stratos. And then Ricardetto summons the Ogbear. Now we get to sync for 5. That is, of course, going to go for the Angelica. Alright, we'll use Angelica's effect to add the Noble Arms Museum. Auglier effect on the Angelica. Sending the Immortal Phoenix. Summoning Roland. Auglier F. Oh no, now we also get to Living Fossil, the Auglier back here. And that's how we're going to go for the Synchro Charles here. Because yeah, the Living Fossil definitely did end up coming up for sure. Get to equip the Roland. I'll use Charles' effect to get rid of this DPE. Now we only have the Vion. I actually probably should have sent the Vion now that I think about it, because I could have just battled over the DPE and done some damage. If nothing else, but... Alright, now I get to link some of the Charles, equip the Synchro Charles, and here... that was so brutal! I, for this one moment, just went total yellow button turbo mode, clicked yes without even thinking about it, and didn't realize till after the fact that I had negated my own Noble Arms Museum, which is so brutal. Also, I talked about this in the combo guide, but this is like, I hate the way they do this, right? Because when you look at the text here, it's only copying Synchro, it's only displaying Synchro Charles' text. It doesn't also display Link 1 Charles' text. So like, I was so confused here. I was like, why is my own card getting negated? I didn't understand until I clicked on Charles and actually read the text on the card and realized that I had negated my own museum. Because again, it doesn't actually display that effect here. I hope they fix this. I really, really hate how they display Link 1 Charles's text box while it's copying the equip spell, or the synchro monster rather. It's just, it's bad. It's really bad. It's not good. And yeah, unfortunately this misplay means that I can't lethal, and spoiler alert, this is actually gonna end up costing me the duel. It's so bad. I mean, it's my fault for clicking yes without thinking about it, right? It's totally my fault. I'm just gonna fast forward here because the rest of this duel is just like my opponent just totally capitalizing on my misplay and beating me into the ground as a result. But yeah, no, I really wish they would have displayed that at least a little bit better. And it's also the reason why I specifically pointed it out, not only here and saving this game, but also in the combo guide as well. I talk specifically about the fact that the Link 1 Charles will not display its own effect text, only the Synchro Charles. Again, it's one of those really minor like interface things from Master Duel that I have a lot of issues with. Another one being the whole, like, you know, with the Dracoback, the adventure line, it doesn't ask you if you want to add it or equip. It says, equip a card, yes or no. And clicking no is actually what adds it to your hand, but that's really counterintuitive because it seems like the game is asking you if you want to activate the effect or not. I don't know. There's just some things about the interface of Master Duel that might be kind of minor nitpicks, but I think are ultimately pretty huge issues here. And then this is definitely one of them. Here, I almost came back here, funnily enough, because now I'm going to seek for the Baron de Fleur, but this can't be destroyed by card effects. I was all excited. I was like, ooh, I can summon the Baron, battle over, pop the big one, and then have the Omni for the follow-up turn. I might be able to salvage this, but no such luck. No such luck at all. Yeah, here I'm just waiting for them to swing in for lethal. Oh my god, yeah, this person didn't just enter battle phase, that's right. I think I ultimately ended up just surrendering to them at this point, because, like, ugh, they're just going on and on and on, extending way further than necessary. Yeah, I just surrendered, but it's so brutal. It's so brutal to get done in by your own misclick. It just sucks, but it sucks too because it's specifically a Master Duel problem. Like, in paper, you would never have the confusion of not knowing what your own Charles did because you can't read the text, and you wouldn't also have the confusion of misclicking because obviously that's not a thing in paper. So Master Duel does streamline a lot of the process, which I really appreciate, but there are a few minor things like this that can occasionally come up that are a bit of an issue. So I really hope Konami fixes that. I really hope we can just see both text boxes in the thing when you click Charles, and I have to click on the card and read the actual card itself. But anyway. So that'll do it for these games. I hope you all enjoyed them. Let us now go ahead and move on to the outro. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means a lot to me. It's also a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in that way as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, like the very special patrons that I am thanking here, you can do so by checking out some of the links in the description. One of those goes to the Patreon, where you can join these fine folk and support the channel that way. I do post daily content over on Patreon, so you do get something for supporting there. And if you're interested, I also have a coaching tier option as well. Details again will be on Patreon in the link below. Also in the description linked below is my Twitch page where I stream a few times a week. You can go ahead and check that out, follow or subscribe over there if you ever want to catch me live. You'll also find my second YouTube channel if you feel like subscribing over there to watch some of the Twitch VODs as well as some additional non-Yu-Gi-Oh related content that I make over there. Again, any of those links you want to check out is all a great way of supporting. But again, even if you don't do that, just watching was also a fantastic way to support. And once again, I have to thank you so very much. But in any case, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic day.